DRIPS of Agony, written by Clay Tarleton Hensley and edited by Anna Van Leeuwen.
I said I wanted a plain burger, you stupid idiot. No pickles, no lettuce, and no onions. Just the patty and cheese. Why is that so hard to understand? Didn't you go to school or something?
The customer finally stops screaming and huffs impatiently, wiping the spittle off his lips as he fixed the speaker outside the drive-thru restaurant in their hard glare, as if waiting for the employee to answer gives him some sort of a sick thrill. The power of intimidation, the sadistic urge to belittle everything, this fool on the other side of the speaker. No matter what the employee replies, it will only add fuel to this customer's eager jaws, edging them to readily snap again. Isaac exhaustedly closes his eyes as he politely replies in a short, monotone voice. "Yes, sir, that's what a cheeseburger is." Isaac can hear the customer groan louder as his temper gets higher with each passing second as the wrathful hiss continues. No, I don't want a cheeseburger. I want a plain burger. I'm so sick of you brain-dead shits who can't comprehend basic English. The reply that slipped past Isaac's gritted teeth came so fast it was almost reflexive. Ditto. Forget gas on the flame. That small word was like throwing a fistful of white phosphorus in the air. The customer makes a small, hurried gasp at Isaac's comeback, the spark before the explosion, before beginning to trip over his own words within his intense, raging babble as he rages incoherently at the speaker. He tries to cuss out Isaac, but stumbles over every syllable spat off his snarling lips, enraged grunts and half-baked insults tangling up his tongue. Isaac is leaning against the wall, seemingly unfazed as he cleans his fingers, with yet another blank, to-the-point tone. He asks, "Sir, do you require an ambulance?" The customer lets out a wordless howl of anger, and all of a sudden, the sounds of metal crunching and rubber peeling across the pavement nigh drowns his microphone with feedback, almost illegible above the sound of people outside screaming as the customer crashes into the cars around him in his vicious attempts to forcefully exit the drive-thru. Isaac's half-open, blasé eyes watch the whole event unfold on the cameras as he lets out a long, heavy sigh before grabbing the microphone again. "Next customer, please." Sometime later, Isaac is at the local store, lazily picking up items to slowly drop them into his small basket while he's on the phone with his coworker. "Bro, I can't believe you got fired for that. He was the one who freaked out and caused all those damages, but you're the one who gets punished?" Isaac listens to his coworker's indignation with aloof detachment, watching a grocer restock milk from behind the coolers as he replies in a low and couldn't-be-bothered attitude. "I don't know, man. He tries to drive in and a bunch of cars. Pretty sure he'll get sued or something by everyone he hit." The mysterious hand restocking the milk reaches towards the door that Isaac is currently standing in front of and plops a gallon down. The figure is a young woman with curly red hair and braces. She looks at Isaac and offers him a tentative half-smile. Isaac smiles back, but as soon as his lips curve, his heart plummets in his chest as a thought strikes him with apprehension. I don't have a job anymore. I have no reason to be thinking about her. I don't know why I'm even here. I have milk at home. I should be saving money. I can't afford to spend anything now. I'm such a failure. As Isaac opens the fridge door and takes one of the milk gallons, the next words from his coworker somehow further lowers his heart, digging down towards his feet with 6 innocent words. You talking to that girl today? Isaac's only response was a tense sigh. Sounds like you're at that store. Hey, you should apply there now that you're free and finally ask her out. The words, though comforting and inspiring, only served to sink Isaac's mood furthermore. He puts the milk in his basket and shuts the door, perhaps harsher than he needed to, as he quipped reply came. I don't know, man, I think it's weird to get a job just to talk to some girl I don't know. He can hear his friend's bellowing laugh crackle the edges of his speaker. My man, you go there every day just to see her. What's your problem? Isaac huffs, shaking his head, and picks up the pace towards the checkout counters. It doesn't matter. The short return stifled his friend's laughter, who now returned with a sigh of his own. Isaac, I know you're not doing well, and I'm worried about you. I wanted it to be a surprise, but not everyone likes that. I was in a slump myself a bit ago, and I found this thing online that really helped. It didn't make me happy, but it helped to cheer me up. And remember, it's not so bad. It should be getting to your place today. Just open it up and check it out. You deserve to be happy. You just need to get over whatever you're doing that's holding you back. Isaac rolled his eyes as he arrives at the checkout counter and starts placing his items down on the belt. I have to go. I'll call you later. Isaac hangs up and finds himself pleasantly surprised as he looks up from his keypad to the warm green gaze of the redhead from before. Her cheeks are slightly flushed, and a few corkscrewed wisps had worked the frazzled freedom from her hairnet. She smiles at him as she peeps shyly. Hi. Isaac lets out a small laugh. I was trying to avoid her. I don't want her seeing me like this. I can't even believe I even care what she thinks. It doesn't matter. I'm not good enough anyway. Despite the chaotically inflicting thoughts racking him internally, externally, he returned in a murmur. Hey, you got here fast. She chuckles, her bright excitement evaporating any shadowy remains of social anxiety as she responds. Yeah, I want to check you out. Take your money. For your items. Yeah. The radiance fades in her stumble, and the woman quickly droops her head down with a grimace and starts scanning the food while trying not to look at him. But he noticed her keeping an eye out for him between her loose strands of curly hair. Isaac closed his eyes and retreats further into his mind, his mind's voice screaming at him. Just ask her out, just ask her out. What's stopping me right now from just asking her? Why can't I just forget about it? Why do I care so much? She's so beautiful and shy. And her braces. My goodness, I love braces. Isaac reaches into his pocket and feels around, briefly tracing the outline of a pen. It doesn't matter what I want. Settling on his wallet next to the pen, he takes it out while trying not to look up at her as she finishes scanning his items. Isaac and the woman try to avoid each other's gazes, attempting to keep their attention everywhere else, but often find themselves taking a peek at the other, quickly darting their eyes away at the last second when caught. So that'll be 1992? Isaac smiles and replies, my birthday. Gaining a curious squint from the woman before he adds, my word for birthday. She then looks up as she calculates and slowly drips out the words, January 19th, 2000? No, the year. I was born that year.
Oh, I like older guys.
As soon as the sentence parted from her lips, her eyes widened as if she only just realized what she had just blurted out. Lowers her head and hiding her blush with a hand to her forehead.
I mean, I like...
Desperately fishing for words and finding none, the woman's huge eyes fluttered as the flushing red bloomed across her face. Suddenly, her smile returns to cover up her shame with a bright and jovial attitude, as if she flicked a switch. But her fluster still showed in her words.
You're trying to get out of here and I'm keeping you, my bad. So, cash looks like?
Isaac hands her a 20 and starts to form a sentence. So, do you want to... The woman stares at him, her breath frozen, with their fingers hovering on the bill's edge, waiting for him to finish. Isaac sighs once more. The confidence he somehow scrounged up, fast fading in a puff of warm air. Keep the change. Thank you. The woman lets out a surprised yelp as he swiftly scoops up his bags and quickly makes for the door, the throbbing of his dying heart matching the thud of his heavy feet as it threatened to plop right out of his body and leave him behind. Had he dared to look back, he might have noticed the crestfallen expression of the cute redhead watching him make his speedy exit. Outside Isaac's apartment door, a small cardboard box with his name scrawled across the top of it rested on the weathered stoop. Must be the package Brendan got me. The voice in his head begins sobbing and tries to hide, but Isaac knows he needs to bring it in, or else it would be rude. So he resigns himself to lugging the damned thing inside. With begrudging, weighted fingers, he picks up the box and takes it alongside his groceries as he ventures into his apartment. His apartment shades are drawn, enveloping the room in darkness. Trash litters the floor. Remnants of other packages he ordered himself are just left to hang out on whatever counter or table he dumped them on. Empty glasses, waylaid TV dinner trays. Everything in the room seems to just be a copy of himself. Trash, festering in the depressing darkness, left to rot amongst forgotten memories and broken promises. After putting away the extra gallon of milk and the other groceries, Isaac takes a seat in a comfy but worn-out chair with a pair of scissors to open the box in hand. Looking at the box, his chest feels heavy, and the thought of opening it feels exhausting. Though it isn't a clear thought, in the back of his mind he ponders, why does everything make me tired? With a groan from the soul seeming far older than his own, he accepts his fate as he flops backward into an armchair with the box in his lap. Okay, Brandon, let's see what you got for me. It doesn't take long to open the box. In fact, it seemed to open willingly and almost threw itself open. Raking through the packing peanuts, Isaac wraps his hand around a small object that fits nicely in the palm of his hand. The object is a fat but tall plastic cylinder, kind of like a jar that's painted white with a sinister smiley face. The object is wearing a cute black top hat, also made of plastic. Attached to the small present is a note which he begins to read. Heard you were feeling blue. Tragedy dims our light, so I made this for you. He'll teach you to shine bright. In 3 days' time, a smile must show, or bid your goodbyes to all that you know. Look inside and trust, like those before you. The hat creature taught us just what to do. Isaac squints as he examines the final line in the note. It feels like a threat. But it's supposed to make me happy? He shakes his head and finishes his thought. It doesn't matter. This whole thing is stupid and weird. Isaac examines the small sinister object that looks like a little head wearing a hat. Look inside, the poem said. Spinning it around in his hands, he could feel something shifting inside. Not quite solid, not a fluid, but something shaking within. Tracing his fingers along the edges of the hat, he decides that maybe it spins off. Gripping the hat, he softly twists it and finds no resistance as it begins to turn in place. I see. Isaac's tone turns inquisitive as he pops the top off and takes a look inside the strange gift. Within the decorated container is a plethora of small strips of lilac-colored parchment. Faint wafts of cinnamon gently drift into his nostrils. Oh, that's nice. Isaac dips a finger inside the container and plucks out one of the strips, finding a handwritten message on it. He chuckles as he reads it out loud. You have soft fingers. Thank you for choosing me. Oh, that's cute. Isaac places it aside and takes out another one. Not everything goes right, and that's okay, because sometimes there's something left. Isaac stares at that one for a bit, puzzled. I can't tell if this is a joke or meant to be philosophical. Isaac puts the message aside with the others and closes the top, deciding that's enough for now and electing to call Brandon next. After a few rings and no answer, Isaac gives up and decides to text him. The rest of the day will just be about surviving after that. Got your toy in the mail, dude. It's cute. I like it. Weird note attached to it, but overall, I want to say thanks. Thank you for being there for me. With the text out of the way, he nonchalantly tosses his phone on the couch and sinks deeper into his chair. His mind's voice began to drone as the room dissociated. To exist is a chore. It's a lot to ask, but one that is necessary. You can't hope to get better if you're not around to want it. If you're not here, then you can't feel the pain. And without the pain, you have no reason for wanting. Existing is a necessary evil. The silence in Isaac's apartment is deafening. No music, no chirping birds, not even the mind-numbing drip of a common leaky faucet. The only noise is the loud ring that comes when there is nothing to listen to. Where's the beauty of peace and quiet if silence is just a constant nagging ring of the ears? With a tired groan, Isaac threw his arm across his closed eyes. I'm just gonna sleep here. I know I didn't do much, but I'm just so tired. Isaac awakens an unknown amount of time later, no longer worried about being late to work anymore, as time has become irrelevant anyway. Letting out a heavy sigh, his chest feels like a churning slosh of gray matter, cycling up and down from the pit of his stomach to his chest. Suddenly he hears something. The silence is broken as he just barely manages to make out a small giggle. He inquires as he looks around his room. From the corner of the room behind him, a whisper piques his ears. Bro, are you even trying? Isaac leaps to his feet and turns to face the disembodied voice, his heart suddenly revived and beating a mile a minute. Hello? Is someone there? Isaac backs up and reaches for the light switch on the wall, flicking it on to illuminate the entire room. In a hazy yellow glow, the shadows don't retreat from the light, but more so settle away from it, as if they're tourists who found a spot to tan. Hello? Isaac calls again, more demanding this time, but finds he is alone, just as always. Nothing new. Why would that change? Just what did he expect when he doesn't go outside? Knock, knock, knock. He turns his attention to the door and quickly paces to open it, just in case he isn't alone. Throwing the door wide open from its frame, he finds that no one is there, just an empty hall to match the gaping pit in his stomach. Taking a step out of his apartment to double check nobody is there, his foot catches against something at the foot of this doorstep. Oh? What's this? At his feet lies a large black leather top hat, sitting on the floor. A sense of eeriness crawls up his fingertips as his hand nears it. Carefully picking it up, it's heavier than expected, and he winds up using both hands on the surprisingly weighted hat. The top isn't straight, but a tad bent. Not as if it was damaged, but instead made to lean at an angle. Remembering the gift from earlier, he contemplates why it's here. Is this from the mailman? Did they forget this or something? It has a faint smell of cinnamon, like the written notes from before, and is cold to the touch. Unlike the gift that sparks an interest of casual curiosity, however, the hat seems to corrupt and fill him with dread. A sensual, inviting dread. I should just leave it here, the little voice in the back of his mind warns. I should just toss it down the hall and forget about it. But he just can't seem to bring himself to put it down. Playing with the hat, Isaac takes a look inside. It's so dark within, he can't actually see the walls of the hat. It's as if the hat contained an endless void, stretching into an unfathomable abyss within the folds of fabric. Suddenly, he hears that same haunting chuckle again, calling from inside the hat. Oh shit! A horrid cackle augurs the launch of black oil-like tendrils from the darkness within that wraps around Isaac's head in a constrictive bind. As Isaac screams and smashes the hat against the wall in a desperate attempt to wrench himself free from the tightening coils, reeling him closer to the leathery maw, he hears that sinister voice shout in triumph. You've fallen for my trap. Welcome to the dungeon. Isaac fills the hall with a deafening scream for help as his entire body defies the laws of physics, shrinking and falling forward into the pit as he's swallowed up by the hat creature. Panic descends upon him as he flails in a futile bid to stop his fall, only managing to send himself into a slow spin as he plummets into the depths. What the fuck? Isaac's screams echo all around him as he falls into a bottomless void. His ears are assuaged by a symphony of guitars and drums, the sound of his terrified yowls blending into the chorus of the lyricless orchestra around him. It takes a moment for him to find himself as he struggles to orient himself upright in his free fall. And as he gets his bearings, he realizes two things. One, all he can smell is overpowering cinnamon. And two, as he tumbles down the endless shaft of empty space, the walls fade into red and bright lights blink into existence. A gaggle of burlesque dancers surround him, crowded on a spiraling stage that flits by him in tightly curled levels, dancing to the beats of the thrilling music and laughing at his hopeless struggle to find something to grab a hold of to stop his descent. In a flash, the scene changes again. He gasps as he lands into a roller coaster that appears out of nowhere. The long track springs up before the wheels of the cart in real time. It seems to be leading him deeper and deeper into the darkening abyss in front of him. The dancers begin shouting and mocking him, screaming above the music, "Get ready for a ride!" as he whizzes past the final corkscrew of the stage and deeper down still. The coaster springs to life and rockets forward up the track, slamming Isaac back against his seat as the safety bar smashes down in front of him and locks him in place with an audible click. The dancers have disappeared, and the abyss along with them. The walls fall away, revealing a somehow vibrant yet dark forest with hundreds of malformed monstrosities skulking the shadows just out of sight. The red-black combo fades to mottled greens and browns, and the smell of cinnamon is washed away by that of pine and damp earth. The roller coaster propels itself out of the forest and into bright azure sky, and they fly over a sprawling city of skyscrapers. They stretch out from beneath him like gray, spindly fingers as the wind licks at his face and laps away his tears. The coaster dips and begins circling in and around each building. Though he's going so fast he can barely comprehend his surroundings, he's bombarded by flashes of people in the windows, pointing and laughing hysterically at him, just as the dancers had. Their cacophonous glee is so powerful he can hear it from outside the gleaming glass, but his attention is quickly snatched away as the coaster then pulls back, careening away from the buildings as the track arches up into the sky towards a giant baby head, dominating his senses in full as its crying and wailing penetrates his ears. Isaac's unending screams threaten to tear his vocal cords apart with their ferocity as he scrabbles to escape the coaster when the daunting realization settles in. The track goes directly into its mouth. The incessant laughter that seems to be coming from every direction grows to an ear-shattering roar, peppered with the baby's cries as he gets closer to his destination. He can even hear people slapping their knees and falling over from their amusement. "I want to get off!" Isaac shouts as he struggles against the safety bar, helpless to fight its cold restraint. In an instant, it's already over, as the coaster screeches to a violent halt, slamming him forward against the bar, which quickly rises to set him free. Imperceptibly quick, the scenery from before had vanished, leaving him wayside a suspended platform hovering in the spacious dark, the city and forest long gone to who knows where, but the void continuing to stretch forever below. Isaac shakes himself from his confused stupor and leaps forward to collapse on the platform, just lying there, in shock, trying to catch his breath. He can't even think about relaxing, never mind anything else. His whole body still feels like he's falling. He tries to grip and scratch at the wooden floor beneath him to ground himself and convince himself that he has finally stopped. Eventually, after a few minutes of his heartbeat pounding in his ears, he manages to make out the sound of footsteps approaching. Heavy, methodical footsteps that pound against the wood like his heartbeat did in his skull, getting louder as they draw closer to him. Out of the corner of his vision, he notices something. Hands, no, claws, are holding a large white sign. The hands humorously move the sign from side to side as they drift closer to Isaac so he can read what's on it. In large, bold black letters is the word baby, crossed out with the word Isaac scrawled above it. The sign bobs left and right as the creature moves it closer to Isaac's face until the holder unceremoniously smacks it against him, making Isaac grimace with an annoyed yelp.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there.
The figure's shrill tone is mocking, throwing the sign off of the platform and into the bottomless pit.
Here, let me lend you a hand.
Isaac is grabbed by the shirt and jerked upright onto his feet, the strength of the figure easily yanking him off the floor and holding onto him with the easy threat of throwing him off the ledge. Now that he's somewhat back into a position of being himself again, he gets a good look at his host? His kidnapper? His killer? The creature is a tall, snow-white figure boasting a top hat, a black coat with silver buckles, and matching boots. Nothing out of the ordinary about that. His face, however, is a different, more disturbing story. He barely has one. If it's a he. The figure has no nose or real eyes, but does have a pronounced and sinister black leathery smile that curls into squares on the edge of its cheeks, as if it isn't actually an emotion, but more just its face. Isaac stares at its eyes that seem to be large, asymmetrical black circles that were possibly drawn on with a marker in great haste. Kind of like someone putting on makeup for a big event, but decided it would be more entertaining if they messed it up on purpose, to make a scene. The creature is now standing within a hair's width of Isaac. Is it excited to see him? Or is that expression one of hunger, like someone staring at their dinner in a microwave and beginning to drool?
So excited to see you.
It speaks between heavy breaths, abruptly smashing itself into Isaac's neck and taking a deep breath. It somehow sniffs with a non-existent nose as pleasurable sounds escapes its jagged jaw, as if Isaac's scent is intoxicating. Isaac recoils instantly, shoving free as he backs up towards the roller coaster. His exclaimed protest has seemingly no effect on the creature. Dude, get the fuck away from me! I just want to go home! The creature just stands there, drooling and savoring his aroma. As a wave of it washes over the monster, it shudders with ecstasy. Isaac shrieks again as it launches itself at him and places its mouth next to his ear, its arms coiling and restraining Isaac so he can't get away from its disturbing and needy clutches. It sniffs him again before licking his face with a soaking, wet black tongue.
You taste so fucking good,
it passionately whispers with a breaking quiver in its voice. Isaac's eyes are practically popping out of his head in terror as he struggles and squirms against the creature's tight grip, but he just can't break free from his captor. Suddenly, he gasps as he falls to the floor, sans the beast, as it teleports back quite a distance and giggles. I'm trying to hold myself back. I swear, okay? It launches again while it drools and sucks in all the saliva.
You're filled with such delicious self-loathing and pain. Sometimes I like to eat people for dessert. But boy.
It licks its lips, and even though it has no eyes, Isaac can feel the penetrating stare of this vicious predator.
I just like the way you taste.
Isaac jumps back to his feet and runs to the other side of the platform, trying to get as far away from that thing as possible. When he first got here, the wooden platform was just small enough for him to lay about and rest. But now that that thing is here, it seems to have expanded and grown to give him more room to breathe and to escape. As Isaac absconds from the creature, its frightening voice dances after him as he races away.
Yes, baby, run from me. Run, my delicious moon pie.
It cackles, vibrate from all around. Isaac follows the path which leads down some cobblestone stairs. The air gets hotter the deeper he goes, and he can feel himself sweat, not only from the temperature, but from his exhaustive hate to escape. Black claws wrap around Isaac's feet, toppling forward down the stairs. His face, gotcha, smashes against the stone steps as he tumbles down, filling his mouth with a hint of copper. Slamming to a stop at the landing, his bleeding nose drips down his face as he wearily raises his head to see the creature's arms have grown out of the stone itself to grab him. Its voice echoes from all around. Are you scared, Isaac? Yes. Fear me, little bitch. Fear me and feed me. Isaac tries to wrench himself free once more and kicks out at the monstrous claws, but the freakish thing wraps around his ankle and crushes it in one foul swoop. Blood drips off of Isaac's face, and just before it lands with a plop on the stairs, the stone transforms into a cavernous maw of celestial teeth and black tongues that gobble it up. Isaac screams like a banshee and kicks himself free with his good leg once more, before crawling down the rest of the stone stairway onto another wooden floor. Behind him, the creature grows out of the stairway like a glob of melted wax, stretching up to the ceiling. Teeth, leather, and flesh form out of the muck in a disorganized manner as they all swirl about before finding their place to reform the creature properly. Once fully formed, the monster takes off its top hat and places it on its chest in a curtsy motion. A black tongue with a fine pointed tip swirls out of its mouth and coils around its claws. As Isaac takes flight, the creature, it sucks on each one, commenting their flavor. Fear of death, hopelessness, and a tiny hint of confusion. Lovely. Isaac's footsteps thunder across the wooden platform as he breaks into a terrified sprint. The direction doesn't matter, only that it's an escape. A few moments later, he can see the shape of the building in the distance. He can't quite make out exactly what it is between his heavy breaths, but it's a sanctuary all the same. As he reaches the outside of the building, he sneaks a quick peek inside as he bursts through the glass door entryway. The floor is blanketed with a vibrant soft red carpet, easy on the eyes and welcoming. Posters decorate the walls, and the aroma of buttery popcorn wafts through the air. He tries to slam the glass doors, but they don't budge and only slowly drift back to a complete close. Darting around the area, he finds a metal sign with ticket prices and lodges it between the handles of the doors. He tries to pry them open, but they won't budge, leaving him satisfied that they're securely locked. Isaac turns toward the vast open lobby of the building and takes in his surroundings, quickly realizing he's in a movie theater. His breath is quick, but his heart rate slows as he absorbs the quiet and sweet atmosphere. The smell of popcorn gently caresses his nose, and he breathes a sigh of relief. Wandering about the theater, he gazes at the posters on the wall, each one more disturbing and foreign than the next. The first one, however, is blank, with only the title Divine Agony and a Coming Soon sign under it. The other posters are actually detailed with other titles, such as Tiffany's Turmoil, Carl's Conundrum, Stacy's Suicide. Each poster is of that monster that kidnapped him, hovering over the title character, eagerly waiting to eat them. The last poster is lit up, showing off a movie that seems to be featured in the moment. Insufferable Isaac. Isaac walks into the movie and finds all the seats empty, watching the screen as he finds a decent spot to lean against, compromising his feelings of dread with his need to sit down. Isaac's friend, Brandon, shows up on the projector screen as the scene opens on him at work, smiling, flipping burger patties, and bobbing his head to unknown music. Butterflies fill the air, and the restaurant is filled with a gentle, warm, peach-colored mist. The screen then pans to another part of the restaurant, showing Isaac slumping next to the takeout window. His face is drooping and overflowing with black ooze that drips from his eyes and the corner of his lips. The air is stale and cold. The walls are peeling, and the building looks like it's going to collapse on him. A confident voiceover starts narrating, but the voice is faint, despite the volume being particularly loud. It speaks in an informative but overbearing manner. "This is Isaac. He hates his job. Don't you, Isaac?" the narrator asks. The depressed, oozing Isaac nods at the screen, nodding at himself in proxy. "You see, Isaac here's depressed. And when you have such a deep level of depression, it tends to play mean tricks on you." Suddenly, the creature that was chasing Isaac shows up on screen behind the other Isaac, with a spray gun pointed at him. "No, silly, not those kinds of tricks." The narrator chuckles with his kind but deep, reassuring voice. "Tricks of the mind. See, Isaac may hate his job, but his depression is an infection that corrupts. At a certain point, he managed to convince himself that looking for another job was pointless, and he would just be miserable over there, too." The movie Isaac nods, and between black ooze dripping from his mouth, a twisted voice croaks and gargles. "That's true. Why bother? Let's just stay here if nothing's going to change." The creature hovers behind the warped version of Isaac on screen and licks one of his ears in a slow, sensual motion, whispering, "That's right. You're already miserable. Why change things if they just make it worse?" The voiceover continues. "After convincing Isaac to stay at his job, the infection spread at a tremendous rate, playing even more tricks on him. This time, Isaac knows he hates his job, and begins to hate himself for not looking for something better, despite the fact that he believes it wouldn't really be any better in the first place. It's at this point he has reached the endless cycle of self-loathing, where he's damned if he does, and damned if he doesn't. He hates his life, hates his refusal to change it, and loathes himself for being miserable." Breaking Isaac's attention is the sudden, insulting laughter from the seats nearby, and as he darts his attention to the left, he sees the creature lounging in a seat nearby with his feet up. Isaac blanches. "Dude, what a loser!" it shouts between laughs. Oh, this is my favorite part!" The scene has transitioned to Isaac in the grocery store, talking to the red-haired checkout clerk. Similar to Isaac, she also appears to be suffering. She is soaked from head to toe, her hair damp, and her voice is eager but soft. Her eyes are bloodshot, and her mascara is running. As the scene of Isaac talking to the woman plays out, the creature continues heckling from a few seats down. "Dude, she's throwing herself at you! Come on!" The insults coming from the creature cause Isaac to wince and turn away from the screen. But even with his eyes tightly shut, the insidious laughs and warped recollection of his life still haunt him. I can't run. There's nowhere I can go. I don't think I'll ever escape. Accepting his dilemma, instead of choosing to fight back, he slips to his knees and just plops himself down on the floor. Both the rendition of the creature on the screen and the real patron in their seat turn their attention to him, and somehow their wide geometric grin gets even bigger. A black top hat pops up out of the floor in front of Isaac, and the creature, now standing next to him, picks it up, placing it back on its head. It walks in front of Isaac and looks down at him, placing a claw on his head and massaging his hair.
"Oh, the poor baby," it mocks. "Finally accepting you can't run from your problems."
Isaac looks up at the monster, grinning down at him with a claw on the back of his head. Tears are streaming down his face from his reddened eyes. The creature licks its lips.
"Such a sweet, delicious morsel."
It bends down to Isaac's level and slowly begins opening its jaws, revealing the maw Isaac had seen earlier. An endless, bottomless abyss of pulsating teeth and tongues. An agonizing raking of flesh and massaging tentacles awaits any prey that suffers the poor fate of falling inside. Isaac lets out a steady sigh and closes his eyes, once again readying himself for the end. Without warning, the creature stands up, and with a wave of a talon, a copy of the woman from the store appears next to it. The creature grabbing her shoulders and inhaling her scent, deeply absorbing her musk and essence. All this without a nose. The creature drools and begins sucking its fingers.
"Oh, yes."
It quivers with the uncontrollable excitement that permeates through his tone.
"You know what, Isaac? I think I'm going to let you go. Yes, I found another deli delicious succulent strawberry doodad ding dong dish damsel."
Isaac snaps open his eyes and sees the creature slither a long, wet, black tongue around the store clerk's neck and opens his jaws, violently crunching the woman's entire head and ripping it clean off her shoulders. Blood splurges from her body, shooting up to the ceiling, and drowns it like Moses had an ark ready. The creature, thus defying all laws of physics, swallows her head in grim satisfaction and smiles menacingly.
"Don't worry, my precious. You're still special. I just think we need to see other people. And it's not like you were ever going to do anything with her anyway." "Now forget all about your unrequited love, because the next time you see her, she'll be scattered all over the grocery store like a scavenger hunt."
"Okay, bye!" The creature tips its hat, and just like that, Isaac is sitting on his couch, back in his apartment, like nothing had happened. Except for the obvious. He used to be by his front door. Dazed and confused by the entire encounter, he panically darts his gaze around the apartment. He jumps to his feet and runs around, feeling the walls and trying to find a place to hide. He retreats to the bathroom and locks himself in to gather himself.
"What the fuck even happened just now? That was a nightmare, right? Was it real?" Yeah, that was beyond real. But I'm alive. I survived, and I'm okay."
An image of the red-headed woman flashes into his head. "But if I don't do something, she won't be." Looking into the mirror, his eyes are still red from crying. His hair is shuffled and his skin is a bit paler than normal. An overall mess. He turns on the sink and splashes water onto his face. I have to do something or that thing will kill her. Isaac arrives outside the grocery store just as the sun has almost set. The parking lot is nigh empty. Even the hundreds of shopping carts that are usually scattered about have been brought inside. Isaac can hear someone pushing a line of them and hurriedly makes his way over there to see if it's her. As he gets closer to the employee, he can see they're wearing a white hoodie. Excuse me," Isaac calls out. The employee turns their attention to him, and Isaac sees it's not her. Trying to mask his anxiety and disappointment, he redirects. Are you guys closing up for the day?" He tries to keep his cool as the image of that woman getting tortured flashes at the forefront of his mind. "Yeah, we're closing in about half an hour. If you're quick, you can grab a few items. Should be one checkout left open." Isaac thanks him and runs towards the entrance. Once inside, he begins running past each of the aisles, scouring the store for the woman, whom he just now realizes he doesn't know the name of. After passing 4 aisles, he gasps and stops dead in his tracks. There, in the middle of the aisle floor, he spots that same black and bent top hat sitting on the ground. After just staring at it for a few seconds, it seems to pop up slightly off the ground and begins skittering past the aisle on spider legs. "No, no, no!" Isaac screams internally and follows the hat. Sprinting down the next aisle, he manages to get a glimpse of it turn a corner and continues his pursuit. As he races around the corner, Isaac barely has enough time to brace himself before crashing into another employee who'd been tucked out of sight, making them squeak like a plush toy and almost barreling her off her feet. Clambering to his feet, Isaac dubs himself off and begins a hasty apology. "I'm so sorry, I was..." But his voice falls short as he realizes it's her that he knocked into. "Oh, it's you!" he stammers while looking around the baking aisle for that thrice-damned hat. But somehow it's disappeared. The woman brushes her hair out of her face and, once she recognizes Isaac, smiles. "Oh, hi! I didn't expect to see you again. Did you forget something?" Before Isaac could answer, she added quickly, "We're almost closed," with a shy smile, tacked onto her rambling sentence as if almost an afterthought. Isaac looks down at her to see her name tag and finally reads the name stamped in neatly edged black ink on the plate. "Ashley." No, actually, He floundered for a reason to be here without looking like a complete weirdo at the same time. Hard to do when he's constantly looking away from her and at everywhere else. The haphazard finish bumbles off his tied tongue. "I was looking for you." She smirks and replies, "Are you sure? I mean, you're not even looking at me." Isaac clears his throat and casts a quick glance over her shoulder to make sure that the hat isn't behind him, sneaking up on them. "Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Suddenly, a dark shadow out of the corner of his eye catches his attention. His head snaps to the side, where he lays eyes on it in full. Peeking around the shelf at the end of the aisle is the hat creature. Its perpetual smile curls up as it gazes at them with its black drawn-on eye holes. Isaac panics and takes her hand in his. "We should go," he blurts out. Go? Go where?" Ashley blushes and tries to hide it, lowering her voice. "Are you asking me on a date?" Isaac sees the hat creature still lurking by the shelf, but not coming out just yet. It seems to tilt its head, and though it doesn't have true eyes, Isaac knows it's looking at him. Yeah, we should go out.
Tonight.
Yeah, when you get off work, we could get dinner. Ashley giggles and bobs on the balls of her feet. Okay, yeah. I get off in an hour. Maybe? Let me get your number. I'll text you when I'm done. She pulls out her phone, and the monster lurking at the end of the hall nods its head, a large claw motioning to him in a manner of what appears to be encouragement? Isaac keeps his eyes fixed on the hat creature as he recites his phone number to her. When he's finished, the creature begins to silently clap and then place its hand on its chest. With a bow, the voice of the monster drifts into his mind, a longing, sinister whisper slicing through him. Good job, loser. I'm proud of you. Now remember to smile and be happy, or I'll be back, and I'll be snappy. Hat creature waves at him and gnashes his teeth in thinly veiled warning, then materializes in front of him. What just happened? He thinks to himself. Snapping back to reality, he hears the voice of Ashley from right in front of him. Okay, cool. Thanks for stopping by. By the way, I don't even know your name. Isaac looks back at Ashley and answers with a tired grin. Isaac. Ashley looks at him again, peeking around the aisle to make sure that no managers were about to pounce on her, and smiles a bit back at him. Okay, cool. Thanks, Isaac. I'm really happy you came to see me. Ashley looks deep into his eyes and smiles with a glow he has never seen before finishing. I'll call you when I'm done. She starts walking away, but dares a quick peek back to wave at him. He waves back, and, just like that, is once again alone with himself. So, wait, it wasn't going to kill her? Isaac ponders. It just left as soon as I asked her out. Did it want me to do that? An image of the gift his friend Brandon pops into his mind, and recalls he gave it to him to cheer him up. Was all this some psychotic way to force me to... Isaac can't quite finish his thought. He wants to say, be happy, but he isn't. Just because he asked her out doesn't mean he isn't sad anymore. Just because he was forced to take action doesn't mean his feelings about himself are gone. There's no guarantee his life is going to get better. Isaac's phone buzzes in his pocket, and he fishes it out to see a text from an unknown number. It reads, "Hey, it's me, Ashley. Really excited for tonight." Though there is no guarantee, there is at least the possibility things could be looking up. Isaac closes his phone without replying. It's like an evil Mary Poppins. The speakers blare out through the store, and a warped voice begins singing on the loudspeaker. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Then, before the song cuts off, a cacophony of demonic laughter fills the store with an evil glee. The longer the meat marinates, the sweeter the dish. The end. If you enjoyed, please remember to like and subscribe. If you'd like to support these projects and get them out faster with even more quality, check out my Patreon. doing the other things helps as well, spreading the word, and that's about it. My next project after this, the next short story, I'm actually really excited about it. The problem, though, there are some voice actors that I would like to hire, and, well, that needs funding. So my choice is to either wait to fund those voice actors and then get the video out, or go on with the next short story, do that one myself again until I can afford the voice actors for the other story. But nevertheless, my next project is actually something completely new to the channel. It will be a platinum race for the cat game Stray. My best friend Soul and I will be racing to see who can get the platinum trophy first, the coveted 100%. Will it be I, Hat Creature, or will it be the actual trophy hunter Soul? We shall see. Oh, there's my cat in the background. He knows what we're talking about. Regardless, have a great day.